Emerging from nothing, the album starts with dizzying, shifting layers of guitar. This continues for the next 5 minutes. There is no singing. 7 minutes in, the song begins with "The True State of All Things." Phil Elverum is an indie rock and folk musician from Anacortes, Washington, in the United States. His musical project, The Microphones, started in 1999. The band musically told Phil stories. Washy, distorted drum fills and guitars filled the gaps between the folk sections, creating a unique sound. The Microphones released about 6 albums. It Was Hot, We Stayed in the Water from 2000 was an explosion of passion and beauty, showing Phil's early skill. A year later, The Glow Part 2 became a cult classic with listeners for its emotional vocals and beautifully distorted sound. Mount Eerie in 2003 was the last album under the Microphones name. Now using that album name as an artist name, the first Mount Eerie album came in 2005. Notably, A Crow Looked at Me, released in 2017. It's one of his most acclaimed works, a painful album about death. Most recently, Lost Wisdom Part 2 was released at the end of 2019. Now, I myself haven't heard all of these albums, but really does that matter? Because today I'm here to talk to you about my favorite made by Phil, so let's talk about The Microphones in 2020.
I will never stop singing this song, it goes on forever. I started when I was a kid, and I still want to hold it.
Microphones in 2020 was the first studio album under the Microphones name since 2003. It's an autobiography. It consists of a single 45-minute long song. Instrumentally, it starts with only guitar and a steady bass line. Evolving from there, crispy lo-fi drums are added to the mix and taken away when necessary. Phil will add a shimmery organ, pulsing distorted guitar, or piano, whatever the mood of the lyrics demands. Microphones in 2020 is more than just an album. Microphones in 2020 was released along with a short film. It's basically a hand-operated slideshow of pictures. The film includes 700 pictures that were taken by Elverum and by 2 others. The pictures, more or less, tell the stories going on in the music. Also, the photos were recently compiled into a purchasable book, called, funnily enough, Microphones in 2020, Silent Version. Phil was mentally connecting the images to the lines of the song, and said, "As I made songs and albums, these photographs stood in for the unmade movie that I was always soundtracking. Each photo, for me, contained an expanse of music and ideas, mostly unexpressed, but always waiting, ripe. In my mind at least, some images are directly married to a specific song or musical moment." The lyrics of the song could be read like a poem. It details the journey of Elverum. he experiences the excitement of making music. He talks about who and what inspired him. He talks about the more mundane things about his life, like staring at the moon with friends or driving out to the ocean. Phil talks about watching Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. He continually mentions his age. The album is nostalgic. Phil captures his feelings, thoughts, and experiences of his younger days beautifully. Microphones in 2020 evoke such a specific grand feeling that's so hard to put into words, but Phil did. His words on this album mean so much to me, and so many others. They're introspective, and I feel like I'm seeing the world as he sees it, just for 45 minutes maybe. Going into Microphones in 2020, I was quickly captivated, even though I had had barely an idea who Phil was, and had heard no projects from him. Microphones in 2020 may not go down as a classic or even as Phil's best, but it will still stick in my mind.